Hello, 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 everyone. Money Classroom time. Money Classroom is back. We are back. It's a Wednesday night. We're here to talk about money because you don't know the things set already. You are here tonight in the Money Classroom if you are ready to continue to learn how money works and how to make more of it. I'm your host, Keisha Bailey, aka Keisha the teacher. I'm hearing lots of variations to the teacher, not the teacher there, but the money teacher, Keisha the teacher. Excited to be back again on a Wednesday night with y'all, talking about money, my favorite subject. Rock and come into the money classroom. I see persons coming in as we're opening up our doors. Early bird, Anicia McFarlane, big up yourself. Good evening, money people. Welcome to Money Classroom. The person's joining in. You know the drill. Let me know where you're joining us from tonight. Love to see where we're tuning in from. I know where the money discussions are reaching all over the world. So drop in the comments which part you join from. Tell me good night. Let me know you're good. We are continuing our discussion tonight around financial literacy for kids. And specifically, we are going to be talking about financial education for the next generation. You know, Whitney Houston said best, I believe the children are future. That's what we're talking about. But we want to set up our kids to have some money, to have wealth. We didn't have the broke life for our kids. So we want to continue that discussion. Last week, we started with Frances Harvey. She's a teacher, quite expert, many years. You know, she's been doing her thing. She came on and spoke about exactly how do we open up our mindset as parents around finances for our kids and for ourselves, because while we're taking care of our kids' education, we have to take care of ourselves and build wealth for ourselves as well. So how do we do both, and how do we do both well? So if you missed that episode, go back on YouTube. You can catch the replay there and check it in. But tonight we're continuing now with two amazing experts. They're coming to share their insights on that same topic as well. And it's gonna be good. Me know them talk about, me know them perspective. I know what they bring in, so it's gonna be a good discussion, guys. You're in for a treat tonight, money people. You're in for a treat. Cheesy, big up yourself. Big up. You know what I'm gonna big up Cheesy. Welcome back to Money Classroom. I say also Anissa joining us from Kingston. Lexi, good night, good night, good night. Hello, everyone. Drop in the comments. Let me know you did it. Let me know you hear me. Let me know you're ready to learn. You don't know. So we are gonna start bringing on our guests. You know, we're gonna let them introduce themselves. And we're gonna warm them up here because you know I have a little thing on my sleeve for them. I have a little thing there. So first guest, I'm bringing on Dr. Anona Griffith. And Dr. Griffith has been in medicine for 20 years now. She looked nice in the youth there, but she's been in medicine for a very long time, specifically pediatrics. She has a postgraduate diploma in pediatric nutrition as well. She currently works at the Maypen Hospital, where she's a clinician and an educator because she's a lecturer also in the child health, adolescent and child health unit at UWI. She has a passion for helping young medical professionals find their niche and be their best self. I love it. Love it. And I think that's why we're gelling, because we care about people and want people to be their best self. She also works very closely with her doctors that she's training. She's a public speaker, and she's also served as an executive and secretary on the Pediatric Association of Jamaica's board. So pick up yourself. Welcome to the Money Classroom.
Hey, Keisha, it's good to be in the classroom today.
Nice. And my next expert tonight, Mark Telfer. Mark is a seasoned marketer with over 15 years of experience. He has excelled in building and marketing some of the biggest brands we have seen in Jamaica. Him there behind it. We're not going to talk about that side of him tonight. We're talking about, the parents' side. Husband. Good husband. Good up husband, father of two. He's going to be sharing his insights as a parent, both him growing up and also his insights on how he parents his kids around their finances. So I tell you, really good discussion we're going to have. Welcome, Mark, to the Money Classroom.
Thank
Big up yourself.
you, Keisha, for having me here. No, what's up?
Hey,
And
Mark.
I thought
Everybody.
I know each other. They're also members within the Profit Jumpstart Academy. You know, them up there do the money thing too. So we're gonna, mixing everything in the discussion. I'm gonna drop in the comments anything as we're talking, anything you want us to really touch more on. If you're not really too sure about something, you drop it in the comments because we're gonna be talking about a lot of different things tonight. So first thing first, Mark. I hope your wife was here and come and say, good husband. Don't want, and I'm gonna come drop the gems tonight around philosophies. I really like your philosophies, Mark, around family and parenthood, which we bring out all that. I have a real discussion. So we're gonna first start with I give you the nice, introduction of hey, welcome in on. This is, the expert doctor, the expert marketer. But so the people really know, the money people on tonight really know, say, Una real. I'm gonna start with Dr. Nona. Tell us something that I did not mention in your bio.
So I didn't come from a family of wealth. I had opportunities, but those opportunities was limited because I didn't have money. So when I wanted to go to medical school, it was not a free ride. I had to take student loans, 3 of them, to get through medical school. So that alone tells you why I am passionate about the next generation and how we prepare for them.
Nice. So you never born with no gold spoon in your mouth.
Not.
Probably not even a spoon in your mouth. Not even gold, but zero spoon. And you can say what you're saying because you're not just coming to talk, you have lived it, you've experienced it. So when you talk about money, you never have money in the first place. And you've worked and learned things along the way to build up your own wealth. And I think also how you're gonna bring it to with how you talk to the parents that you work with, the parents being a pediatrician. That's gonna be amazing. So looking forward to that. Now to you, Mark. Tell me something what we never know in the bio.
Well, put it this way, my the majority of my knowledge of money management, I'm not going to say financial literacy is the big word, but money management was self-taught, and it was for the mere reason that I grew up in a household that money was never a conversation. You don't know about it. Uh, let's just say the means around me were looked better than what I lived in. And I decided that, I wanted better and more for myself. So I made up my mind that, the situation I grew in was not the situation I was going to end up in. I was going to be the wealthy
Yeah.
one in my family. And I think I've been a fairly good job so far, between real
Yeah.
estate, stock market, you know,
Yeah.
we're getting there. But I'm simply saying the fact that no, like I know now, there was no bank account to lean on, send myself through university. I mean, sell DVD, CD, do man for do, stand up at Sabina Park gate at tier ticket, welcome to Sabina Park, any little hustle I could get to figure out how to make ends meet. But in that, I learned and I understood money management, and that allowed for a major difference in terms of where I'm at now.
Nice. All right. So I like it. No, me myself, a lot of people know my story. The single mother, grow away, we never have money. We got through it. So the three of us here, come from a similar background. And the fact that we understand the game, the money game, we learn what we need to learn, we take what we need to take, and we're growing and building wealth. This is gonna be amazing. We try and make sure inside Money Classroom that we have very real discussion. We didn't have a play thing and a hoity toity and nobody can really understand what we are saying. We're unrelatable. I want people to understand that everyday people you see, just like you, can elevate their status, elevate their finances, and have wealth. No matter where you come from, it's all about where you're going. And from you have the right mindset, you have the right vision, you have the right determination, you can and you will succeed financially, spiritually, medically, all kind of the league, all of it. You're gonna get there, right? So love that. And we're starting off on a good note, right? On a good note in terms of, all right, never come from nothing, but we have something now like that. Now, when we think about our kids, providing a good education for your child is one of the most valuable gifts that you can give as a parent. But with how education costs are going up, I won't leave money, the school fee, book them, everything keeps going up. So when we think about balancing investments and your overall financial well-being for your child and for yourself, how is the best way to do that? I'm gonna start with Mark on this because I know you have two kids. Just send them back to school. Just go through all of that whole bag of school fee, uniform, pencil, book, all that. What was your approach? How do you typically approach your back to school expenses?
So for me, it's all about planning, and I'll be very open. I mean, nothing to hide. One school fee is $150,000 a term, just to put it in absolute dollar value. And it's not about necessarily having it up front, but is planning for it. You know it's coming. You have to understand what it
Yeah.
is that you're going to maneuver to get it done. I don't want to use the term sacrifice because, again, over the years, I've learned money management. So it's all about how do you identify what your objective is, set it out. And there's a simple word that we use every day that we tend to overlook. It's called budgeting. So for me, budget, budget, budget. I have a template that covers my full year budget, showing all the major expenses. It has my monthly paycheck in there, deducting all the necessaries. School fees are a must. Groceries in the house is a must because we need to eat. And that simple plan allows you to project and also protect your income to deliver on the things that you need to do. So school fee every year, I've never had an issue paying for it. I never have an issue paying for it. What I will do is give you a cheat code is that I use my credit card and is about managing the credit card. Is a rewards credit card. When you
Wait,
put 150,
all right, Mark. Yeah, drop the
yeah,
gems. You know, wait, man, wait. See, Roger asked me, he's like, is prep school even worth it? So we step back. The 150,000 a term. Is it really worth it?
so I'm gonna say it's situational. For me, it is worth it. I went to a primary school, prominent primary school in Kingston. Big up Don Robin Primary, love it to
Don
death.
Robin
There,
Primary.
there's nothing wrong with primary education. The challenge we face now is a lot of the schools are overpopulated,
Yeah.
and the teachers don't have the same level of wherewithal to deliver to 30 odd, 40 odd kids in a class. So where you can afford to deliver for your child, and I say do it. If your job facilitates you being home to give that additional support where needed, then if a primary school is, convenient for you and you have the time to put in the additional input, then by all means. I know the nature of my job. I understand the nature of my wife's job. I'm going to give my child the best that I think she can get. And in a classroom at maximum 25, 28 students with two teachers, it suggests to me, and so far her grades have shown that it is worth the investment because what you're getting is the return on the investment. The eldest at 7 understands to tell the time in full. She understands the concept of money. She does swimming as an extracurricular. She gets her allowance every month, and she needs to know how much she's paying for the
The
swim
outside.
fee at the
Wait, so
at the
Mark,
stadium.
hold
So
on
You're
there.
done in
Hold
our
on. Sorry.
section
We're
now.
gone. So
all I'm
prep
saying
school.
is it's planning. It's work for
Yeah,
me. It is
Mark,
worth
yeah.
it.
Obviously, guys, marking plan out to the TTT.T. It plan out. No, the thing is, with the prep school, last week when we had Frances Savion, she was saying, boy, it's really dependent on the child and what you
That's
feel
Mhm.
is
And that's there as
best for
well.
your child. So not to be saying, I'm concerned about the primary school environment. It it's twofold. It's really which environment do you believe your child is going to thrive in? And then
Yeah.
now, depending on the environment, it still come back to the budget. Okay, you have a
Yeah.
PFE, primary school, prep school, none of them are free. There's
Nope.
no free school. So I know for you, I know as a doctor, you would see both sides, prep school, primary school, as parents coming to do that, back to school, check up. And you probably just do a bag of them and check for all different kind of things to send our kids out. What were some of the concerns parents were expressing around probably school fees to you at that time?
The reality is that not all parents can afford what they want for their children, and that's just basics. So a lot of parents dream of, getting their child into a school that is best suited for them. I went to primary school with 60 students in my class, and in grade 6 it was 120 because my teacher was on maternity leave. We're not having that problem now.
Still, Dr. Anona,
Right.
120 kids in a class.
Right, so it was 2 classes that she had to cover for one. It was 16 each class. Big up New Providence. Yeah, I did well, but our children nowadays, the good thing about it, the educational system has somewhat morphed to allow for those shift schools to now be all-day schools, which has helped for the contact time that they have. But the crowding is still there. There are schools that are primary schools that are excellent. I have clients who have sent their kids to primary school and they're getting just what they were getting in prep. Some of them have actually transitioned their children out of prep school into primary school because of funding. And they have found that the support that they get in primary school for their children have been good and they have had no complaints. And vice versa, some parents have had to shift out of primary school because of the needs of the child. So as the teacher said last week, it is needs-based. And parents need not think in a myopic way about it's where my child goes to school. No, where everybody's child goes to school is needed for that child. Do they get the attention? Are their needs being identified? Do they have special requirements? Can they get it in that setting? If not, we're not saying go and break the bank, but as Mark says, you have to plan. I went to both a prep school and a primary school. I transitioned out of prep school into primary school because of financial issues. And it was hard for me to transition. But at the same time, I had support. So this is where the village comes in. If you are not giving the child the support they need at home and externally, you will not have any success, whether they go to primary school or prep school.
But either one of them will still have come up with the money, so it comes back
You
to
still
the
have to keep
budget.
the money.
Because sometimes what happens, some parents may start in prep school, but then the finances catch up to us.
Yep.
So we may end up not have to shift to primary school. Nothing wrong, because at the end of the day, we want the best for our child, and we can slice it different way to make it work. But Mark, as you think about how the budgeting for the school fee, the school fee raised every year, more or less. When do you start putting aside money for the school fee? Is it from way up in January, or is it July, August? You say, all right, me not eat for them 2 months, you make a come back. What is your method so that we can help other parents to think about it?
And it's all year long. If in December I see where there's a little extra bonus, then believe me, so that bonus to make sure that that school fee is paid. If there's a month, for argument's sake, we recognize that the expenses have been reduced to have a little extra disposable, we start to move it aside. It is a year-long process, but I would always say to people, you have to do what suits you. I may have the luxury of saving an additional 5,000 this month or an extra 10,000 next month. Somebody else, based on the nature of their income, may get a large sum in a particular month. Maybe you take it out of that sum and put it aside. But it's a year-long process for me, but it's also a very individualistic process. You have to identify when and where you can claw those savings to make sure that it adds up.
Yeah, and it's about also being consistent, because we can put some this month and then we'll forget, and then next month pass, we never get to do it. So one way that really works well is set up a standing order. When you get your money a month time, you send, even if a 1,000 out, send some money aside into an account to put down for the back to school, the school fee. That way, when July, August hit you, yeah, all right. It must come in. You have to send back the kids to school every year.
Yeah.
After happening.
And I would tell you, Keisha, for that account that you set that standing order to, don't have no debit card. Don't online bank. It might be annoying to go into the bank to draw money, but sometimes access is what gets us in trouble. If you can block that access and you know that September morning or August morning is when you go in for it, you're more likely to have that figure in that account come the time that you're ready. But the moment you have that debit card and you pass that Prada slippers and you go, that look nice, and you say, that 20 grand won't kill me here, swipe, it goes. So it also deals with discipline as well as the consistency.
Yeah. So consistency, discipline, yes.
But Keisha, a lot of parents, and even if we look back at how our parents managed their funds when it came to school time, a lot of them through partner. So the partner started from December for July, and you saw them saving, and what they would do is they would take the draw round about June, July,
Back to
so that they
school.
could buy the stuff and put it down, and they wouldn't wait until the August rush to go and shop. So some people start making uniform and putting down uniform material from March. So you have to really plan for what it is that you want. So, and the other thing you need to plan for is the extras money, because when they go into primary school or prep school, extras is a factor.
Extras are keeping look like everybody are running for the extras. Right?
And you have to pay for it.
Look here. It's real and it's not cheap.
No,
it's not.
It's just so even if you're in the primary school setting where you are not required to pay a school fee, you pay a school fee every time you pay for extras.
Yeah, but they still have the uniform, socks, even don't
Those never change.
Books, everything. Yeah.
We still have to buy things to send the kids back into school.
And they're growing, so you can't depend on last year's stuff to serve you. And every year the book list changes. So you have to prepare yourself for that as well. You know, can you resell some of your stuff that you had from the previous year that you didn't use, that you're not going to use? You know, things like that. Rotate them around your village so that your kids are able to, you know, you're able to save money.
Say, because that's important. So not to be saying, you know, the extras. The extras, it's rough, man. It's rough, but the thing is, you know, when we look at it from the perspective of we are investing in our children, right? It's a money shot. We are talking about making money, and but let's be real. We have to push our kids to be their best self, whatever that best self may be, right? Because that's the investment. I'm pouring into you so that the return can be there, right? Some parents believe, you know, me are pouring at you, so when I'm all angry, I can come back and take care of me. Yep, make sure, because them extra, if I drive you up and drive you this, I carry this. So make sure when you grow, you remember these things. Other people say, well, I'm pouring into you to set you up for your future so you can have a better future than I have, right? You can have a better life. You can have more things than me. May I set you up for success? Why if I have the things that me never have? So there are two sides to it. Mark, let's start with you. On which side do you follow? Okay, I don't know you're gonna laugh, you know.
No, I laugh.
Which side?
No, so I laugh because I grew up in the era where kids were understood to be pension. Literally, your kid was your pension. You invest in them so they can come take care of you later. And I can proudly say I'm taking care of my father and no issues. But I have decided on a new narrative for me where I'm setting them to make sure that their life is much easier than what I had to go through. The conversations about money starting now, the conversations about real estate starting now. And I try to keep it in simple terms because we always talk about the big words, financial literacy and money management. And no, start at the basics. You need to save. You need to make sure you understand what $100 can buy. What can it do? And so for me is setting the foundation to ensure that in future they have a better scenario, a better situation than I had. And not because I just want them to be better than me, but I want them to have a footing in life to develop and be the best they can be. I'm not here going to say doctor, lawyer, or Indian chief. I'm going to say be the best you can with whatever it is that you decide to do.
Yeah. And so, Dr. Anola, your views on it?
So, as Mark, I grew up on the other side and I'm able to take care of my mom. I'm the only child that's living. I lost a brother, but I'm able to support my mom in any way.
Yeah, the millennials now, which I think we not really age nobody, but you know, the millennials, that age group, it's coming to the point where you're taking care of your parents. I think most of us are in that sandwich generation, they call it.
Yes, we
parents
are.
Over there and say, yeah, hey, send it to school. Hey, remember you want them, some of them. I have to take care of them. And then the other side, kids, they must stretch onto. So it's like,
but Keisha, it wasn't an expectation that I would be the pension because somehow I always knew that she was sorting out herself. We didn't have a lot, but you know, and money wasn't spoken about a lot, but I was very independent very early. And because I was independent very early, I did a lot of things on my own. I started working early. So I had summer jobs from the time I was 12. Every summer, every Christmas, I was working. Thank God for my village. and God provided great people. But there were things I knew. I went to a prominent high school and I knew I didn't have a lot. I knew that. So I knew what I needed to do, but I wasn't jealous of what other people had. I just knew I didn't want that if I had children or for my family generally. I mean, nieces, nephews, anybody related to me, I didn't want for them to have to struggle because they had opportunities and couldn't get it. So even though I tell my parents, first of all, when I talk to the parents, I say to them, what is your focus? What is your real focus? What is your real desire? And you start from birth. A lot of the things that we spend money on around the time of delivery, some of them are not necessary. You find that the clothes them grow fast, child never wear it, and you're trying to catch up by putting on 3-4 different clothes for the day to try and wear out the suit where you get that. No, tell those other people who love you so dearly and are so happy to see the baby come, give me $1,000, $2,000. Let's put it in an investment account. You start something from day one.
You know what people did vex with me? There were many people when my son was born, and they said, "Oh, baby shower, birthday, and people are buying the toys." And I said, "Look here, we don't want the toys over here. We need investment." So from day one, from first birthday, it was hard first birthday because people there come with the tie and shake on. And I don't want to shake. I want to shake up some money. Give me investments for his college fund. So now them get it. He's 5. People get it now that look here. Nobody bring no kite. Nobody bring a bowling ball. We don't want it. Here is his investment account. You can make a contribution to his college fund. We don't need no more ball over here. We don't want no rocking chair. We don't want nothing like that. That's how we
and it's a cultural shift that I think we need to get to though, because I think we are in a stage where it's almost like asking for money or saying, "Hey, we want money," was so taboo. And likewise, Keisha, I tell people, look, I don't bring the only thing you can bring as a gift, bring reading books. Give me something that's going to educate the child.
Excellent.
We're good. Outside of that, here are the 2 accounts. You have a US dollar account, you have a Jamaican dollar account. So I'm giving you options. Put it in there. It could be $1, it could be $10, it could be $1,000.
Yeah.
For me, it all adds up and it goes towards their education. There's no monetary gift that any of my 2 girls has received that has been spent yet. It literally is there for their education later in life. Right now, I'm hearty, I'm healthy. I will provide for now. Any gift is for later, and it's a simple thing. If the Jews tell the story all the time, if there are 10 of us and one person doesn't have it, and everybody else has $10, if everybody else gives $1, doesn't make them any worse off. But now that 10th person who did not have it has $9 and has the same standard of living as the other 9. So until we recognize, and it's an unfortunate thing, and I'm gonna play that black card or even that Jamaican card. Until as Black Jamaican people we recognize that working together gets us further, then it's gonna be a perpetual fight to move.
Yeah.
All of us throw $10 in our pan, it's $100. And a lot of us will miss that $10. But the person who didn't have the $100 will be $100 richer. If we can all master that type of a mindset, we bingo.
You know who taught me this whole gifting to investments? My first mentor, a very wealthy man, because his birthday came and everybody's saying, what would you want? What would you want? What item would you need? And I said, look here, I have enough things. You can make a contribution to my investment account. The man wealthy, him rich. And he's saying, put more money in my investment. So I was like, why look at poor me? One all of them present here. If this wealthy person is singing that way, and from that day I make a promise to myself. Any birthday, Valentine, Christmas, I want investments because the investments are gonna grow. So if you give me, 100 NCB shares or 100 Scotia shares from a birthday, that's gonna keep going up. Worse, if you ever give me 100 Transjamaica share, I may get dividend and grow. That's way better.
Keisha, I will take 10. You don't even need to give me 100. I'll take the 10 shares. And if I get 10 people to give me the 10 shares, it's 10 more than I had before.
I saw my mom do this for her goddaughter. So when she was born, my mom at that time Omni was doing well, and she opened an Omni account for her. And every month, me not talk $3,000, little bit of money because my mother was a nurse at the time. And she would put a little bit every month for that child. When she got to 18, she called mommy and said, Auntie, how much money is in my account? My mother said, since you can ask me, you can now get it. At that time, she was able to gather, I think, over $200,000 and hand it to her parents and said, this goes towards her. So for me, even my godchildren, I contribute in terms of their education fund. So they know birthday coming. Hi, happy birthday. How are you? I hope everybody is great. Them money gone in them account every month.
You're a good auntie to have. You're a rich auntie. Me, I like you for my auntie.
But guess
nice
what?
because
It's not no. But you see, if you start early, depending on what you do, because of compounding, if it's $10, it compounds, and that's the thing about it. Because I'm not intending for them to get that before they reach 18. So when they're ready for college,
I will give you a little bit of trouble, I know, because I like the simple language. Tell what the compounding means, because we use these terms all the time. And
so somebody gives you additional interest on the money every time you add to it. And that principal then rolls over. All the money that you save rolls over, you get interest, and it becomes the new principal. So the interest plus the old amount that you saved becomes new principal. That rolls over again. And so this process is called compounding. Like when you mix compound and you pat it down, yes, it gets thicker and nicer.
Brick. That's how it goes.
So I tell parents that all the time. What is it that you are doing for now? What vision do you have in mind? Children have choices. Many of them don't want to go to college, but they need to have skills. You may want to start the skill early. What are they gifted at? Many of them, as you talk about investing in education, many of them, it's their education the level of education that they get that opens doors for them to get things for free. Scholarships, all of those things. They play chess, they do it. So opportunities, things that we never had access to, are the things that allow our kids to get full rides into college. We won't have to pay for that. So it depends on how you approach life. I also tell my kids, because I have the discussion with the kids as well. I ask the children, do you realize that you're part of a business and that you earn every day? Everybody looks at me with their mouth open.
What is it?
I want that. I said, do you know that your family is a business and you contribute to the business on a daily basis? So when you get up and you make your bed, if you're at that age, or you put your shoes away or you put your toys away, you're contributing to the functioning of the business. When you get your lunch money, it's a form of payment. When you get your allowance, it's a form of payment. How do you use it? If every time daddy and mommy comes to pick you up, you must get KFC, who's paying for it? I've heard 3-year-olds say, use the credit card.
Look here. I've seen that. I've seen that in the Upper St. Andrews. I've seen
it in the Lower St. Andrew too, and I've seen it in the Lower St.
Andrew.
In the country, girl, because guess what? You go out in a car away from your house on a journey, it's a chance to get something out of road. So if it's not patty, it's KFC, it's snacks, it's juice, it's water. Somebody has to pay for it. Who paying for it? Mommy. Who paying for it? Daddy. We live in single parent homes. That's what they use as a bargaining tool. I want something from mommy, so mommy feels happy. Oh, I only see you this time for the week. I'll give you something. How do you pay for it? Are you going to help to pay? No. So I said to one, I challenged a little girl one day. She was 7 at the time. I said, okay, you want KFC? How much money I have? And I went, she's like, I used it all at school. I said, well, the next time you want KFC, you see how much you can contribute to the, I said, look on the board and see how much money you have. Can your lunch money cover it? No. I said, can your allowance cover it? No. I said, so when you can save it up to the 800 and how much dollars for the 2-piece that you want, then you can go buy your KFC.
Until then.
Her father sat down there and he was like, what? After that, I said, does she ask for KFC? No, because she realized she has to spend her money.
Yeah.
No, and we have to teach our kids how money works, because if you don't teach them when they grow older, that cycle going perpetuate. They're gonna struggle with money because they don't know how money works, and they're gonna go into jobs, them get paid, don't know the first time ever may have all of this money, and so you just spending. and then you're broke. You have to teach them from an early age. I see some people giving their kids bank card because they say, I want them to understand, to draw it, and that, when I spend, no more is there. I want to teach them to budget. So this is your lunch money for the day. If you spend it off by 8 o'clock, God help you, because you're not no more again. You have to go come home hungry. We have to teach our kids these lessons because we're setting them up for failure in the future. I remember with me never know money work. My first paycheck, I said, whoo, I have this nice bank job, my first paycheck. It was, what much was it at the time? Holy for money was over $100,000 a month. I was getting that back in 2005. That was a whole heap of money.
I can't tell you
fresh out of university, I'm gonna get this money.
Yeah.
Never have the money.
That's
Me
a
been a
lot of
struggle
money.
all my life. Where did Keisha go? Keisha
To
went
the
down
store.
to
Shopping.
go buy clothes. That's
Clothes.
where Keisha went, because Keisha don't understand money. And I say this because I have lived it. When you don't understand how money works, you're setting yourself up for failure.
Yep.
You're setting yourself up to remain poor because you're going to get this money, you don't know how to use it, and then you waste it. The earlier, if I did understand from then how money work, look here, I would have about 45 house right now. And I would just be walking around, turning the keys, because from there, that 100,000 would have paid down on a house.
Keisha, you didn't
Yep.
get enough money them time, the man.
Exactly.
That brings back, I said, one thing I teach, you need to have a high value skill set so you get paid only.
No.
Low paying job
Keisha,
ever, because I
Keisha.
figured that part out.
Keisha, I am in a high value earning set, but my colleagues and myself who celebrated 20 years just a couple months ago, remember that first day in July, the end of July, when we got our first paycheck as doctors. It never reached $100,000.
Well, no. I don't know.
Wait, no.
Well-
And then most of us had, hold on, I'm going to tell you a true story. One of my colleagues, when it came to December, because we started paying back students loan in January, so we would have worked for 5 to 6 months now, and you start getting little duties and the money start look a little better. Students loan sent him his notice, and the notice for students loan, the amount he had to pay back was more than his salary that he worked for the month. And Brethren looked down and said, "Me can't afford to be broke. Him said this is the worst, and because you work hard and you do 15 duties for the morning."
Feel it, team. Yeah.
Yeah, but those are the things that a lot of people go through, and they believe that because we are in good professions that we start off making a lot of money. You are a good potential earner. But when you have to go through the ropes, you have to train your kids that, yes, you want to go into this, but how are you going to manage until you get to that point? What are you going to do with the little bit? And we all had to learn how to manage that little bit to pay students loan, whether it meant renegotiating your loan, whether it meant going back. So you have to teach the kids the skills, because most of us didn't get here like this. We had to learn.
There are two things there, though, and for me, one of the critical things is living within your means. Live within your means until
that's
you can
hard
get
knowing
to
a
that
mark.
next
That's
step
hard
that
knowing,
you want.
especially with the gram.
Man,
Nobody want to show them care.
And
Nobody want to show
I
them
see it.
Yeah, it's hard.
I see it, I recognize it, and I will say this one thing I live by: I live within my means. I remember the first time somebody had the conversation with me about, "So Mark, why you don't buy a house yet?" I'm gonna say I can't afford it. Because them days, again, I knew nothing about money. I didn't grow up in an environment where this was a conversation. And the person sat me down, went through and said, "All right, if you're buying a house for X amount, you only need this 10%. And when they did the math, I'm like, but I have this money sitting in my account. I was so fearful of money that every single bonus I got every December in that job at the time that I was paying bonus, I saved it. I didn't touch it. There was no braffing. There was no going out. My first car was a 1998 Civic that I bought cash because I decided I'm not going to no bank to take out any loan to owe nobody to look fancy in an Impreza like all my friends. I decided I wasn't going to do it. I was able to, know multiple real estate properties, and the only loan I have out there is a mortgage because I learned how to live within my means and allowed everything else to grow around me. And I'm not saying it's easy. I'm not saying it's, going to be, let's say, a two-step process for everyone, but Not because the gram is doing something mean, it's real. A lot of people are broke on the gram. That BMW that you see is owned by the bank,
The
not
bank.
by the individual.
Yeah,
They're not
don't you
being able
know
to
it?
make those payments. But we'll digress a little bit, but I'm coming to the point of we have to learn to live within our means and identify what are the goals that we truly have. And when we start to bank the money to be able to get to the next step, go to that next step and live within that means for a while. Enjoy it for a while before you move to the other step. Now, you talk about refinancing loans just now. I don't know. Those conversations aren't had. Most of us don't know that we can go to a bank and say, hey, I know I took this loan, this is the value, this is the situation I'm in. Let me refinance, let me add some tenure to it, reduce the monthly payments. We need to get to the point where I think we are far more open about conversations, talk about what we pay for rent, talk about what we pay for mortgage, talk about what it is that it costs us to send somebody to school. Because until then, the younger generation can't learn if the older ones of us not talking about it. Who's going to teach
Well,
them?
well, you have to be in the right circle to talk about it. So last night, that's what we're talking about inside the academy. All
Mhm.
right, interest rates falling, time to now go renegotiate the loan then. These circles don't really exist, and that's why I'm pushing the academy so much, because I know most people know them a talk about Shannon Sharp tape, them a talk about this happening over there, so them a talk say
Right now, the
target
other conversation is Diddy.
registers, and no money conversations are happening.
No, nope.
And we just staying at the same cycle. Broke from 99, broke in at the 2000s, broke in at the 2020, broke in at the 2024. Things have to change. It has to change.
And we
And that's
also
why
need to
we have to
understand wealth
utilize
and
the academy
riches.
for that.
But
That's the
right,
inclusion. We
that is
also need to
a
understand wealth and riches, because wealth doesn't mean that you have a 6-story house on the
yeah.
hillside or on the beach.
Mhm.
Wealth is you're able to cover your bills monthly and you're comfortable going into the next month.
Yeah.
Whether you live in a board shack, a 1 bedroom, a 2 bedroom, or 10 bedroom house, if your expenses are covered, you are fed, you are healthy, you are wealthy. The riches will come as you grow and develop in your own wealth. And the wealth you don't need 100,000 to start saving. You don't need 100,000 to start investing. $100 can do it. A
Yeah.
But
hundred
you
dollars a
know,
month for 12 months is 1,200.
Yep.
but you know, a lot of people like to count money, and I think it's a cultural thing where if you don't have a piece of paper in your hand, you don't have anything.
Yeah.
So even growing up, I understood. My mom was a nurse, so at that time, government would provide things like milk powder, flour, cornmeal, beans, and that's what we used. And somehow, my house was always feeding everybody else. It was just three of us, but we always had somebody else to feed. And
Yeah.
we were wealthy in that we had excellent relationships. We were healthy in that we had the village was safe. And once the village was safe, everybody knew that they would survive. I mean, I remember we had friends and they'd come across and you'd have one big fish and the fish head cut into two. All the kids were happy. Everybody, they weren't working a lot of money, but we were all well. And that is part of wealth, being well. And the other thing is this thing about a lot of people have this disdain about um, giving their kids lunch for school. The best gift you can give your child on a daily basis is to pack them a healthy lunch.
Yeah.
Yeah, them not learn nothing. Them always hungry. And if I go
And
through.
an investment in your child is teaching them how to make their lunch. It doesn't have to be look the same way
Money.
that we ate. You can make them wraps. You can make it. It costs so much less. I remember when I started working, I was living in the poor man's mentality, and I said, "Okay, chicken back, I go run it for this month because I'm not have money." So I went to the store and bought the grade A chicken back where they
Yes.
cut the meaty part, right? And
The
I went
best
home
one. Yeah.
and I thought I was cat's pajamas. And I went home and I cut up my thing. After you cut off all of that fat, nothing
And
left.
you fry it up. Yeah.
Anyway, took a lot of work to cut up whatever. And I remember my mom calling me and she said, "What you had for dinner?" I said, "Well, I bought some chicken back to make curry chicken or whatever." And she said to me, "Was that really value for your money when at the end of the day you had all of that excess amount?" She said, "If you bought yourself a quarter of a chicken or a chicken breast and just had that is pure protein and less fat. You spent less time trying to clean it up. Time is money. You would have had 3 or 4 meals out of the same quarter chicken, and you would have enjoyed your meal as well. And I took that as I said to myself, our parents have taught us over the years about quality. We didn't have a lot. We never had a lot of meat. We grew up in I don't know about you, but I grew up in an era where saltfish was a thing. Everything was married to something else. Chicken was not available. That's when they started importing chicken, because we couldn't get it. So you had to learn how to use what you had. And it was not an embarrassment because we all were carrying sardine sandwiches to school.
But nowadays it's very different. So
It is very different, but
here, as we think about it, so Ingrid is saying she live within our means, but one way you mean small. One way, and you're kind of talking about as well that you had small means, but you were still happy. For a lot of person, when you have small means, you feel, boy, I'm a broke, it's depressing. Me not have it. I need to make more money. And Ingrid, your answer, we need a side hustle. We need to talk about how to make some hustle money on the side. What can we do to bring in some more money?
But Keisha, I had to side hustle too, because while I was at university, I had other jobs. When I moved to Maypen, a lot of people wouldn't know that I was hustling because I was selling snacks to buy gas to go to work because I couldn't pay the toll.
Yeah,
it's a reality.
Ingrid, see some idea there. The doctor herself, I tell you, look here, she sells snacks while she got school. We have to get creative, Ingrid, to make some more money and hustle on the side.
And not just creative. I think we also need to learn to get dirty, get our hands dirty. Again, I've been in marketing. I work in corporate, proper corporate. We'll remain unnamed right now, but
corporate line, yes.
I had an egg farm for at least 6 years. I had to shut that business down because everybody wanted to get paid. Nobody wanted to work. And believe me, every weekend I'm down there, the cook them with the chicken, them, put my hands and knees like everybody else. And I was like, oh, you do this? It was a viable business. I was earning proper income. And it's interesting. I probably can share a quick story even out of that business. There's an individual who worked for me who, excellent worker, like I was willing to increase his pay. Came to me and said, boss, I'm going to get a job at town. It looked better. I say, no problem, do your thing. Wish you all the best. Saw him a couple weeks after that, man and money pull over, check in on him, how things going, try have a conversation. Because again, I'm about development. So I was genuinely happy for this young man. Short version of the story, having the conversation, what he was earning in Kingston versus what I was paying him. After expenses, he literally was he was waking up at about 4 o'clock every morning, leaving Clarendon to come to Kingston to jump on a bus, don't get in until like 8, 9 o'clock in the evening. What he was getting differential was $4,800 when he take out all his expenses, lunch, etc. And I'm like, you recognize that working for me, you are literally 4 gates down from the farm. You could leave by 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
Yeah.
You could potentially find a second job that would have then offset any additional expenses. Now, the truth is, at $4,800, what was the real difference? You lack a
sleep. You work at town. I work in Kingston.
And that was the issue. He was happy that he was in a shirt and pants and he's no longer a farmer. He's no longer on a farm working for somebody. But until he recognizes the value of money, the value of his time, then he'll forever be in that mindset. And which is why even for Ingrid's statement, it's difficult to say, hey, you definitely need a side job, Ingrid. Because again, I don't understand what your situation is. And the situation is going to be
maybe Ingrid have a true Ingrid, it's true. Maybe
there you go. And again, I'm not picking at you, Ingrid. I just saying, using your statement, sometimes we need to reassess our situation and also reassess our expenses in the situation, because sometimes we might have to cancel that Netflix subscription for a while. It adds up every single month. We might have to cancel that HBO subscription for a while. We might have to cancel cable, or we might have to do without any data. We might have to jump on the free Wi-Fi every now and again. There are times that we have to make changes in our own environment for our own development. Because guess what? Let's say you do this for 6 months, you save some money, you have a piece of land space, just as an example, and you decide you're going
Yeah.
to start by 10 layer fowl. You start sell 10 egg a day for 5 days. The value of that adds up over time. You
It
start by
does.
20 fowl now. But again, until we start to recognize where our skill set is, so Keisha, you alluded to it earlier, understand where your value add is so that you can get paid for it. If you're good with hair, Ingrid, hey, go be a hairdresser every Saturday, Sunday. It
Bake.
pays.
Mhm.
We
If
have to
you can bake,
If
bake.
do.
if you
But
can bake, bake.
Make sandwiches and carry it to work and sell people.
sell snack, like
Sell.
the doctor here, the
Self-start.
money
But
doctor, me I call you,
but
know, you also the
but
thing.
But Keisha, just an experience. I think it's very important to also teach children that we go through highs and lows in wealth building and
Yes,
wealth creation.
our
Yeah.
kids have
Because
to understand that. Yes,
during periods where you have to tighten your belt, because Jamaica went through some very hard times when, I mean, we never have light, we never have water, gas bills, right? A lot of things. 2008, when the crash came, I was studying at the time, and I remember I had made some investment choices. Money crash, never had no money. I had to now cap
get
my car
money.
loan so that I could manage. I canceled, I mean, I was studying, I needed internet, I needed this, I cut cable bill, I cut this, everything was basics. Everybody knew that I was down to basics. Because even though I needed it to facilitate what I was doing, I had to just pull back from my own. I didn't want to be embarrassed to go into somebody and say, I can't pay you today. It's embarrassing. Nobody wants to feel that way. Nobody wants to have to go through that. But sometimes we have to re-pivot. Sometimes we have to pivot and rethink how we do things. And that's why I talk about the support. If your village is not there, and I thank God every day that God has provided in a lot of ways where sometimes you don't even know where it's coming from, and somebody will turn up and say, I thought about it today. I bought lunch for you. Simple
No, but
things
you
like
know,
that.
when it comes to kids, you raise something which is important, that we have to teach our kids hardship. It's not always easy, it's not always pretty, and everything you want, you're gonna get. And so life work, it's not a wah, and you get. And our kids grow up thinking that, oh, I want this, mom, I need this, mom, yeah, dad need this, that. No, we forget some no. We have
Yeah.
to say,
And,
hey, go figure this out. Yeah, you
and
never win.
we also need to show the sacrifice as well. It's not just
That is
about us
true.
telling them about it. Let's take the other day, COVID, because COVID is fresh for all of us. I'm sure we have some
Yeah.
young viewers online, 2008, I know a lot of people still very young at that time. But when COVID
COVID.
hit, fortunately, I had no pay cut, I had none of those situations. But believe me, I had a discussion with the household. We cut some of the luxuries because I just didn't know what was going to happen next. I have a big ackee tree in my yard. Please don't laugh after me. I'm a proud
I
Jamaican,
love
strong
Aki. I
Jamaican.
We love
love
Aki.
this
No.
Guys,
Aki.
until COVID hit, I never eat ackee. But my tree was bearing, and I was like, I don't know what tomorrow
The
holds.
draw feet.
This was when everybody run into wholesale and bringing. I climbed my ackee tree, I picked ackee, and best believe ackee cooked for about 3 days straight inside this house, and I ate it, enjoyed it, and nourished by it, and now I start to eat ackee. But I say that to say that we also have to lead by example. It's not just
True.
about telling them, and because we're at a position where we have certain luxuries that we never used to have. We have to lead by example and recognize that a sacrifice is a key part of the money management
It is.
process. It is, and we don't. Again, these are the things that we need to talk about more. These are the things that Keisha, great job at doing it. In terms of the money classroom, this platform will allow people to recognize that hey, there are many, many ways for us to grow wealth and become rich. It's not about the millions in the account. It's about being able to afford a
Yeah.
lifestyle that makes you comfortable. And every time you can level up that lifestyle the next year, the year after, but get to a point where you're comfortable and you recognize that life can be happy, guys. Life can be bingo. Ladies, give up that $30,000, $50,000 hairdo and nails every single weekend. Do it once a
No, so
month.
Mark, here's the thing though.
Yeah.
We don't want people to be walking around looking like bagels, right?
Hey, and
It's nice for a
I
man to
am by
say,
no
yeah,
means
ladies, Give up that hairdo. But then you know what? Look away when we are walk around, look
No,
like
hold on.
nothing.
And let me say this. Let me say this as a married man and as a man that still looks on the outside because my wife knows I look, I pay attention.
Lot of mercy.
I don't. Hey, I am alive.
Well,
I
you
am
should.
alive.
Yes.
All right, well,
Guys, the
one
reality of the
day,
You would
situation
be dead
is
if you weren't.
exactly. There is no man that is going to bring a woman into his space if she doesn't have sense, irrespective of how she looks. The conversation is going to be superficial if you're focusing on the looks alone. And I'm by no means saying leave yourself basic and unpresentable. What I'm saying is look at some of the things and define whether or not they are really necessary. You don't need to go out and change your outfit every single day. A lot of us do it just because we took a picture in the top, we're not wearing it again.
can't wear it
A
again.
man will talk to you next week if in the same outfit he saw you in the week before. And even on the gentlemen, you don't need to be out every week with a buckle on the table. It
Or
can be
buy
every
out the
other week.
bar.
It
That's
can
the
be
thing. You
once a
forget
month.
the bottle
It can,
stopping coming in.
and the gentlemen are the same. You also don't need all the name brands that you're changing every day. All I'm saying is, you know your lifestyle. You know what suits you. And if you're into clothes, you're into clothes. But be reasonable and responsible with it. Ensure at the end of the day, your bills are paid, you are fed. If you have kids, please ensure that the kids are in proper schooling. Ensure that the kids are being fed
Yeah.
before I'll use the word braffing to show. And again, that's part of the money management process. Recognize that you can't celebrate every day. And sometimes, even if it's your birthday, you might just have to forego a birthday. Everybody been troubling me this year. Mark, your birthday coming up next month. Where you traveling to? Because best believe that middle of October, Mark is not in Jamaica. I'm out for my birthday. I've traveled at least 4 times this year already. I'm like, guys, that's the budget for
Good.
travel this year is it. My good
Yeah.
birthday, I'm going to be here this year. And it's not that I can't afford to go travel, but to what end? The school fee just raised again 50%, 150,000 this year. I have to be mindful. That's an additional
Yeah.
$50,000 that I did
Mindful.
not budget
Plan
at the early
for.
part of the year for.
Yeah.
But
So
but you
is
know,
sacrifice.
but you know that one of the things that challenges us culturally, and I would love to talk to men and women in this situation, and I'm probably going to step on some toes, but I'm going to say it as it is. It is hard from observation and from personal experience. It is very hard for an individual who has multiple families to build wealth the way they
Watch
really
out
want
now.
to.
I don't know why you gone into that now. So
No, I have to say
I
it.
saw that,
Why?
I saw a post about it with the hurricane. Say, it was very hard financially on some men because they
Yeah.
must end up over this family if you ride out the storm, and when the storm one them can't be over that family. So they have to compensate them financially for the fact that them not did it. And true.
But
I would tell people all the time. One thing, my father has how much kids in my body? Nine.
mine has 11.
Kids. You see,
Mine
you're
has
better
11.
than 11.
Right.
I have a brother that's born 10 days before me. 10 days. 10 days before me. And what my father said, he said, look here, your father loved women. And I said, well, that is good for you. But him said, one thing I could change, if I could go back and change, I wouldn't have been so focused on women because it hurt me financially because all of them bag of picnic is very costly. I'd have way more money if me did just lock up my pot. That's good for you. You realize waiting in I'm old age, it's late, but still, it's important. It's true. So we have to say true. But
Keisha,
some people probably got to sign off now because it's
no,
here, all kind of
No, but no.
no,
But you
Keisha,
take it far in terms of extra family. I don't know. Think about
no,
it this way. If you go out for one meal right now, what's the cost?
No, but Mark, let me just. Mark and I had this discussion about 4 weeks ago, and I said to him, I said, it is very difficult because, okay, just picture this. Yes, Keisha, 9, 11, even if it's four different households, right? You as a young man, you don't start, you don't have nothing, you're trying to save. You might be educated, but you're trying to sort out yourself. Or you got divvy up. When you done, you don't have nothing because your father never left nothing for you. You are trying to build something. How you going to divvy it up and say, to each of my children, I give a block?
I don't know that I go. Everything goes to
Exactly.
God. That's it.
And then the children are not exposed. So as you struggle, it's not that you don't want to do better as that man who might have made mistakes, that woman who probably has multiple. And I'm not bashing you because it's real, it's what we are exposed to. But in your effort to try and build your own self and build your own wealth, it is so hard for you to explain to each child where they are in this picture. It's so hard because the best way to show is by example.
Yeah.
My mom would often tell us, this is what I have. So when the lunch money was $50 and everybody lunch cost $100 and she give you the 50 and she says, manage that for the week. She wasn't
Yep.
being mischievous. She was just being
Mm-hmm.
real and you had to manage
Yep.
it. But we could live within our means. So when she put on the pot of cornmeal porridge and she said, that's all. And we had a bread and the quarter, we'd had it and we went to school and nobody knew that anything was on extra at my house because I looked healthy. I did everything like everybody else. I was bright like them. I spoke well, but they didn't know that and they didn't need to know that. And I think sometimes in our means to not feel or to feel a part of, we think that everybody doesn't know what's happening in your house. There are lots of different
Nope.
houses up in
Nope.
Upper St. Andrew
Yep.
where
Yep.
they
Yep.
don't eat chicken every day. And
Yep.
where I met a mom
They might eat bread
Upper
bomb.
St. Andrew, and
Mm-hmm.
I remember the mother saying that one of the children, so the helper would cook whatever, but she would often find her little one in the kitchen with the helper because he liked when she cooked corned beef, and so corned beef became a regular thing on their table. And he would ask for his corned beef with mixed veg. And so at least twice a week, or the mackerel, and he liked it. And she just said, what are we having for dinner? And can we go? It was not an option. They went out as a family probably once every 2 weeks or once a month. And it was something that was planned and it was not anything big and extravagant. Or they made things at home together as a family, which built them as a family.
Yeah.
So I think we have to take a look at, sometimes we don't like the spaces that we live in and therefore we don't spend a lot of time in that space. So being outside is helpful for the brain. But some of the things you do together actually help you to build and to build together. So you're creating it together because we know where we come from, we know where we're going. We have our goals, we set our goals, and it helps children short term, long term. It helps them with even math. I find that money management helps them with math. I remember having an experience. I went to visit my nieces. One was in grade 3. This is in Australia. And their math teacher was teaching them. So she gave them a cutout of a sale page
Yeah.
from a magazine. And they had to shop. So they were each given, whether it's $20 or $100, and they had to shop for their outfit for a party using the items on the page with the money that they had. So they learned division, they learned how to budget, they learned how to divide, they learned how to add and subtract. And I thought it was a very creative way of
That's
teaching
something we need in our
kids.
education system in Jamaica. We need that. We need financial
Mm-hmm.
literacy so that
Yep.
the kids understand why some schools do it. I've seen some schools the little exercise, where they say, all right, your kid have little money, them come and buy them lunch, they learn there. But what teach them about stock bond real estate? That's not really
Nope. Nope.
happening.
Nope.
It
Nope.
happens
Nope.
in the wealthy circle. Best believe the wealthy kids understand how money work very, very early on.
So you can
We
buy
have
one
to get it
stock.
in the curriculum. We have to get it in the curriculum.
Yeah.
So everybody have to learn about finance. They have
Yeah.
to
And
learn
even
how money
something as
works.
simple earlier with Anona when I trouble Anona to say, hey, what is compounding? It is the one thing I do with my kids. And while I don't use the word compounding, is when she gets her weekly or sometimes monthly money, and she'll ask for something and say, well, do you have enough money to buy it? I say, yes. But do you understand that you're going to have to sacrifice something else because the money's going to be done? Every time she says yes. What I also do in that instance, I said, tell you what, if you can wait until X time, I will buy it for you and you keep your money. What I'm teaching her is that, hey, if I can put down that $1,000 now for another month or 3
Yeah.
months, that you're getting additional on top of it.
Yeah.
Later, I'll explain compounding and use the big words and show her the true principle behind it. But I'm building in her space, and this is the older one, of course, to understand that sometimes it is better for us to wait, get the gratification later. It's not about this instant gratification. I want it now. I want it now. later may just be greater just because I waited. And these are the small things
Yeah.
that we have to instill in the kids to recognize that it's not always about no, it's not always about,
Yeah.
the hype life. Instagram is just that. It's Insta and it's pretty much glorified moments. I remember when I bought, well, not this one, the one before, and I pulled up to my gate. A gentleman from down the road came and asked if he can take a picture. So I'm like, all right, sure. And he
Get a
saw the puzzled
grab.
look on my face. Him say, why? I said, no, I mean, this hot candy red Mazda, blah, blah, blah. I just want to post it. And I'm like, people actually stop, take a picture of someone else's thing. But guess what? His
Post.
friends or his viewers, whoever's
Oh
looking on,
no.
don't know if it's him uncle, him mother. He posted and he may just play it off as his. And I say that to say that we need to recognize that the things that we put forward, I know that your example, living in Chergans but eating bully beef, we don't know what's happening behind the scenes.
We don't
So we
know.
have to be comfortable within our own space, within our own environment. Let's not worry about other things. Yeah, them look nice. You probably want to get there, but you will get there one day if you really want to get there one day. Make sure now is happy, now is important. Manage your money now so you can get to what you want and where you want to be.
That's what we want to do. We're gonna leave it there, guys. We're gonna wait over time. I mean, everybody is tuning in the discussion, but this is the I like when we have a real conversation because that's what life is. Life real. Can't come here and we are play and we are talk about money and we are the theory and jargons and nobody don't understand at the end of the day. Money is real. Life is real. We have to connect the two because that's how we're going to build. But in your everyday situations, think about how can I make better financial decision. Every single decision you're going to approach any situation starting tomorrow. You wake up, you open your eye. Every decision you have to make, try and make sure you're making it toward your financial success. If you find that it's not gonna make you better off financially, I better you don't do it because it gets harder and harder to claw back from. Every decision you approach, is this going to make me better financially? Yes or no. It can be a time, can be how you spend your money, can be what you're watching, can be what you're reading, it can be what you're talking about. Evaluate your situations and make sure that anything you do is about making money. So at least
And
that's
evaluate your friends as well. Evaluate your friends because if the conversations around you aren't positive, if the conversations around you aren't about building, then you probably need to leave those conversations.
That's why the Academy coming God, that's what we talk about in there. Money and how to make it right. We're not into the careless conversations because they can't help us. At the end of the day, there's nothing free. At the end of the day, nobody's coming to save you and your finances and show you what to do and give you some free money. That's not happening. The community is what you need to start changing your mindset and putting it to that next level. I say, I know that you want to say something before Rob said. Thank you,
No,
Jesus. I love
I
money
agree with
classes
you.
tonight.
No,
Yes.
I agree with you on all levels. And I just say to people, if you look back and you remember, those of us who grew with Granny, she always had a little money stashed somewhere. Where she get it from?
Emergency fund. That's what
She
we call
always
the
had
fancy term.
that is exactly what I was going to say. They taught us some basic principles that sometimes we haven't recognized were actual money lessons. They always had an emergency fund. They always had a way of making compound interest. They always had a way of exchanging and making better what they had. So you had salt, I had sugar, I need sugar, and you need salt, we exchange. And we benefited together. We
Yes.
built together. You saw the two houses beside each other. Nobody now said, Lord Jesus, no, we work the farm together, we do things, we exchange, and we build together. If you look at the communities that have come up, rural communities, everybody's building together. So the red eye and think, no, because what? We're all in the same position and we all, so as you said, mindset, thinking alike, being in the same space with people, ensuring that other people, and I think when you start to think good about yourself, you start to think good about and want best for other people.
Yep.
And that comes with education because the more you're educated, the more you learn, the more you want to share it. And there's no reason to grudge somebody else because you learn also from their experiences of life.
No, but you go together.
Exactly.
Right? Inside the Profit Jumpstart Academy. I know now I make money. Mark, I make money. A lot of people, you know, let me get a little secret. A lot of people look up to Mark in the academy because it's the Mark, you know, him always a dropping words of wisdom all the time. We get a lot anytime Mark says something. Keisha, you know, Mark is so smart, you know, he's sharing these words. I just want to be like Mark one day, you know, he inspires me to be better, to the better. And Mark genuinely care about helping everyone in the community to succeed. And know that you genuinely care about helping the doctors around you and your community to build them up. We need to be around people like that. We need to be around some more Anonas, some more Marks who can uplift us, inspire us, empower us to do better financially, do better in our social circles. That's really where it comes from. If you're in a circle where when you tell them your dreams, they say, look here, no man, no, you can't do that. You can't do that. That's not gonna work. You need to come out of that circle. You have
Keisha,
to.
I tell you something. If I never had people who a village that cared, I wouldn't be where I am. I really wouldn't be where I am if I never had that village. And you'll be surprised as you start to share. Once people catch the vision with you, they walk alongside with you, they run with you. And so you have to know. So it takes a little bit of a chance. You have to bet on yourself and you have to be willing to say, okay, I'm going to put myself out there. I'm going to share what it is. Yes, somebody is not going to want to be interested in what it is that you are interested in, and they might not support you, but there will be people who will support you along the way. And that's what we're here to teach our kids, that guess what, you're going to have some Judases around, but you're also going to have a few Peters and Pauls and a few of those, the rest of the 12.
Here with the Bible, thank you. Some people are like, Peter, Paul, where they know? That's true, right? We don't want to do that. So everybody know do that. Yeah, get away.
Yeah.
But the Peter and Paul is true. Yeah, this has been great, guys. Thank you so much for being on. We could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours and hours. And I know that our viewers tonight really enjoyed the discussion and then take something away from it. So I want to give you a special thank you to you both, Dr. Anona Griffith and Mark Telfer. Thank you for being on with me inside Money Classroom tonight. Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Thank you, guys. I'm gonna now just wrap up and let you guys soak in all of the information, soak in all of the money nuggets, because we want it to be better financially. We want it to thrive. We don't want you to sort of exist every day, you know, back and forth, back and forth. Things may be hard, yes, but they only will remain hard if you do nothing. You're getting a lot of information, you're getting a lot of knowledge. Go and implement it. If you find that, you know, I want to be in more circles like this, come in at the Profit Jumpstart Academy. That can be a money circle, a money squad. That's what we call it. We're the money squad. We're all about the money and bringing wealth and uplifting each other as we build money. You also can join our newsletter at profitjumpstart.com/newsletter. Stay informed, stay educated, stay up to date in the world of investing. So not miss you. You always will be in touch with everything. That's what we want for you. Money upon money upon money upon money. So as always, guys, remember, knowledge is nothing without execution. Use this week to implement what you've learned in this episode, and let's make some money together. Let's do our thing. So until next week, I'm Keisha Bailey, Keisha the teacher, and I'll see you back inside Money Classroom. Bye.